not to. Same hotel, same setups. Played a lot of hockey here over about 2 months, and here we are again.
What did you learn in that time? It just seems like a lot of these kids who are here now were here with you. And I mean, I think that was pretty crucial in their development.
Learned a lot as a team. Grew pretty close with each other over that 2-month period, and those are a lot of good memories that we won't forget.
How does getting to that stage change your perspective on wanting to get back?
It's hard to get back to these situations, and here we are. We've given ourselves a chance to make something happen here again. It's not easy, but we're going to focus on tonight's game and go from there.
We've asked you about the road a lot. Is there anything in particular, and do you feel good about playing in this building?
Yeah, I would love coming into hostile territories and playing our game. We feel road game's pretty good. Obviously this will be a tough test here tonight with these guys, their fans, and what an opportunity for us.
We talk about the match. You don't get it here. Does that make it harder because they have so many superstars?
Not necessarily. I mean, we roll 4 lines at home and on the road, and I think that's what's made us successful this year, is that we can do that, and we're confident with whoever we put out there on the ice.
Outside of that Game 5 against Colorado, you guys have limited some pretty high-octane teams to low scores. How would you describe how dialed in your defensive game is right now?
I think it's just paying attention to details. Every team we've played so far, Vegas, Colorado, and Edmonton here, high-end players with a lot of skill, can put the puck in the back of the net. So, every time you step out on the ice, you got to be detailed and, play within the system, play hard, and take care of our own end first.
It's kind of a offbeat question, but how does the music selection get figured out pre and post game? And is there a theme song this run?
I don't know. Well, I know where one song came from. 500 Miles. Came from a good night with the boys.
Do you have good memories of? I mean, there's been some good songs that have come through here that, if you hear it on the radio or if somebody plays it, do you sit there and go, "That was this year"? And
yeah, my memory's not that great, but certain songs that come on, you hear, and it was like, "Oh, that was one song at one point." Yeah.
So there's nothing like the Rangers had with Higher by Creed or anything like that at this point?
No, not right now.
Yeah, learned, how hard it is to get to this point and what all those guys put into that run, and, just cool to be a part of or be around a group that was, that close, and to see, the preparation and what guys went through, to grind it out, and it was just long summer, but cool experience.
how much was the commitment? Because I remember "We're Not Going Home."
Yeah.
And Dobby was big with it, and it was
Yep.
just. I mean, it really did filter through the team, and you wanted to be here.
Yeah, for sure. Whatever. It kind of felt like, the teams that wanted to be there were the ones that went far, and the ones that had 1 foot in, 1 foot out left early, and, the guys were all in and gave it everything they had, and, came close, and just it was cool to learn as a young guy to watch Dobie and what he did and how great he was on that run, and all the other guys too. Everyone battling injuries and missing their family and stuff, and the sacrifice those guys made to get that far.
Go ahead.
Speaking of battling injuries, if hard times make you harder, what do you think you've taken away from this year? Injuries at the end of the year last year and the beginning of this year, what do you take away?
Yeah, I think just you learn a lot about yourself, and you feel you appreciate just being in the net and being healthy that much more. I think when I was out this year. It's the first time I'd missed like games during the season, and just you miss being a part of the group and contributing and stuff. So I'll never take health for granted again, and I think those experiences have helped me so far, and just happy to be healthy and playing.
We talked about the road success, at length.
Yeah.
What does this atmosphere do to help you guys with emotions and adrenaline?
Yeah, it's just fun. Like, get to experience these crowds at their best, and obviously, we play all these buildings in the regular season, but the playoffs is even more fun, and especially a building like this. Great Canadian fan base. These people love their team more than anything, and it's just going to be fun to get to experience that. And conference finals on the road, it's hard to beat that.
What have you learned about them? We're in Game 3 now, and as the series goes on, do you see different things, pick up little things?
Yeah, I think, obviously, they're pretty much what you expect on paper. I think, McDavid and Draisaitl are, decent. Yeah, pretty decent, and I think we've done a good job of defending them as a group, and making smart plays when they're on the ice, and just being disciplined and staying out of the box has been huge, and we're obviously going to need that, especially tonight.
Can you bring us inside the pre- and post-game music selections, the DJing, and is there a song that might be contending to become a theme song for you guys?
You'd have to talk to our strength coach. He kind of runs that. Mike Donahue, he's great on the music, so I just sit back and enjoy what he brings the boys.
They haven't scored on the power play, not a lot of chances, but there you go. How much is Draisaitl stretching out where he'll be almost on the goal line?
Yeah.
How much of a challenge is that?
Yeah, I think it's just you have to respect that. I mean, he can put a puck in a pretty tight slot that not a lot of people can do from down there. So when you have all the other stuff going on in front of you, and then you have to know that, hey, like, I still have to be able to get over there. If it goes that way, it's just another option and threat, and one of the reasons that their power play's been historic, and but we've done a good job so far, and I think we feel good about the plan we have against them. So
Type of crowd.
Obviously you gotta weather the storm. Obviously, you see teams come out so good at home, especially with an environment like it'll be tonight, and the fans and the passion that they have here. So it's just trying to weather the storm, and just kind of weather the storm, and just play smart, and don't overcomplicate things. Just do the things that have made us successful throughout the playoffs throughout the year.
Sorry, go ahead. It's not really an in-season, this moment type of concept, but what's your appreciation for both these fan bases, their desire to get a title? It's been a long time for both.
Yeah, it's exciting. I know, both us and Edmonton, obviously it's been, too long of a time since our, last Stanley Cup. So, it's exciting for both fan bases. You kind of see the last four teams left, each team hasn't won in a long time. So, it's exciting. It's exciting for us, and for us, we're just trying to use that energy from our fan base, and we definitely feel the love from back home, and yeah.
How nice would it be to get Rope Hintz back? I think that's obvious, and also Pete has talked about how with him out, you've had different defensive responsibilities. Jason's had different responsibilities. How much would adding him back in affect everything?
Yeah, he's just an awesome player. He's one of the best players in the world, and you can't really replace a guy like that when he's out, and so it's up to everyone to kind of raise their level and pitch in and do their part, and so being able to get him back would be huge, and it makes our team a lot better just when we can have him in the lineup.
How close do you follow the Mavs? There's each other building. Like, what's the relationship between the two teams? And you see they're obviously doing pretty well.
Follow them a little bit throughout the regular season, and then kind of once playoffs is going on, it seems, especially for me, kind of follow them a lot more, watching a lot of their games, and the schedule is pretty nice right now, where we get to watch them when we're not playing. We're kind of playing alternate nights, and I mean, the games are exciting. I was at game 6 of their second round when they clinched the conference finals, and I mean, you know, see the energy in the building, and it's a lot of fun. It's really exciting to see that, and I mean, it's really cool to see another Dallas sports team, make a long run in the playoffs.
Have you thought about what it would be like for both these teams to finish the deal and win titles at the same time?
It would be crazy. I mean, I don't know if that's ever happened. I don't know, but it would be pretty wild. I know, seeing how crazy cities are when one team wins a championship. So I can't even imagine 2 teams winning the championship, and especially in what would be such a short period of time.
Did you ever have a second sport? Did you ever play basketball or anything else?
Never played basketball. Played a little bit of soccer growing up, and then some track and field, cross country, running. And then those are the kind of 2 things I mainly did. And then, at school you're playing all the school sports. I was on the basketball team, not a great basketball player, but I mean, just growing up, you play all kinds of sports, even if it's not organized.
What's the process of learning another language? Is it hard? Is it fun? A little bit of both?
I mean, for me, learning French, it was, I don't want to say it was easy, but it was, I've started learning it from a young age. So, I mean, it definitely a lot easier and maybe not as frustrating. I mean, learned French since I was probably, 4 or 5 years old in school. So you just kind of, you learn the basics and then you just kind of work up from there. So, I mean, for me, it was pretty easy, but I'm sure if I, had no idea about, French or anything like that, I think it would be pretty difficult right now.
Do you and the other Canadian guys have a lot of friends and family that are coming to these games?
I mean, we have a couple guys in the Edmonton area. My parents, like to do a lot of traveling, which is awesome. They're not able to, make it here, but I mean, we have some guys around Edmonton. It's awesome for them just to have family around and being able to have family at games and just kind of feel that support. I mean, it's great when we get to have some family members out, and I know you want to play a little bit harder for them and get the wins for them.
Pete, can you tell us if Rupe Hintz is in tonight?
Game time decision.
How, with him out of the lineup, how does that affect Jason Robertson? Obviously, he hasn't scored in 10 games. He's getting his points, but he hasn't scored any goals.
Yeah.
Do you kind of need Hintz to maybe get Jason going a little bit?
You know what? I don't know. I mean, I know he hasn't scored in 10 games, but he's a point-a-game player in the NHL playoffs. It's still, you're still contributing. He doesn't, he's going. He doesn't need to get going. I think any coach in the league would take a point-a-game guy this time of year, especially with the trail of teams we've had to go through and how tough defensively Vegas was in Colorado. So, he hasn't scored, but he doesn't need to get going. But Rupe helps everybody. He helps anybody he's playing with and any special team he's on.
Back right, Josh.
Yeah.
Pete, I'm just wondering what you like about how your team has defended McDavid and Draisaitl at 5-on-5. They obviously got their goals in game 1, but what have you liked overall and through 7 periods?
Yeah, I mean, you know what? For me, I still think we can do a better job. So, we can have more detail in our game. I thought, even though we held them off the score sheet in game 2, I didn't think we had as good a detail in our defensive game as we could have. They got too many looks for me. So, it's still a work in progress.
Front left, Mike.
Hey, Pete. What did you learn in your time in the bubble here, and have you heard stories from, obviously it was really big to the Stars locker room. I don't know if you guys talk about it, that you're back here in this building,
Yeah.
if people have stories.
Well, a little PTSD walking in here every time. You know what? It was a great experience. It was an experience I would never sign up to do again, but it was a great experience. I mean, the city of Edmonton, the hotel, the rink, everybody bent over backwards, but it was a social experiment. We were essentially locked up for 60 days, and we lost in the conference final. There was 2 teams that played longer than us, so Yeah, it was, I wish, in hindsight, I would have taken notes. I think I could have written a pretty good book about the experience because hopefully that never happens again and no one will have to experience that again. But it was interesting.
Stay in that front left row.
Chris Tanev, when he arrived, what did he do instantly, or did it take a little while for him to have an impact on this team?
Yeah. Well, instantly, leadership, defending, warrior mentality, that kind of bleeds through your dressing room, especially with your young guys when they see a guy like that. It took him a little time, system-wise, to play the way, to get adjusted to how we wanted to play compared to how Calgary was playing when he left there. But smart guy, didn't take him long.
Stay in that front row left.
Yeah, if I could just follow up. It seems like everybody talks about so many of your other defensemen. Nobody talks about Esa Lindell, but it seems to me is he not your chief shutdown guy right there with Chris?
Yeah, right there with Chris. I think I mentioned that, maybe in a scrum after one of the press conferences, but you're right, no one's talking about him, and they should be. And, this isn't the first time he's done it. He did it last year in the playoffs, too, for us on a deep run, and I think prior to me getting there. He's a horse, and he thrives this time of year, and he thrives in those situations, and he's hard to play against. Really under the radar, quiet, important piece for us.
Second row right, David.
Hey, David.
Hey, Peter. Best road record during the regular season, and you've continued in the playoffs 5-1. Any explanation why the team just seems maybe even just more calm playing on the road?
Yeah. I don't know. I've been asked that before. I'm not sure. I'm not sure why. I think our game translates well on the road. I think we've got a veteran team that isn't intimidated by, visiting rinks or the atmosphere or the situation. I think there's a calmness to our leadership group, which kind of bleeds into the rest of the group. And, I think there's a natural reaction for everybody at home to try and put on a little bit more of a show, offensively. And sometimes that works and sometimes that can backfire against you on the road. I don't think you have that pressure, or as much pressure to do that. It's just about winning.
We'll take two more. Second row on the left.
Hey, Pete, when a team has a penalty kill streak like this, how much attention do you put to that, and can getting one open up the floodgates?
Yeah. Well, yeah, they've got a great penalty kill, but, it's been great in the playoffs. It was middle of the pack during the regular season. We feel like if we execute at the level we're capable of executing, if Rupe's back in the lineup, that, that we're going to get our looks.
Last one, center right, Sean.
Hey, Sean.
Hey, Pete. Jake Ottinger's regular season numbers were down, but it sure looks like he's building and building and building to a crescendo that we're seeing from him right now. What have you seen from him in how he worked through that to where he is?
Well, Jake had a tough year. You go back, he played injured in the playoffs last year, had surgery immediately after the season ended, came back, didn't have a summer of training or anything, had a quick start, then got re-injured again. And I think it's taken him a little time to kind of catch up, but we felt that he was starting to catch up down the stretch from everything that kind of happened in the last 12 months, and I think he's just back to healthy. I don't think it's anything different. I mean, this is he's proven himself to be an elite goalie in this league for a long time.
Thanks, Pete.
Thank you.
Stars forward Matt Duchene and defenseman Thomas Harley to take your questions. We have mics on both sides of the room. Ask you to raise your hand and wait for the mic. We'll start front right with Josh.
Matt, we don't know if Rupe's going to play tonight, but if he does, when he's healthy, what's the trickle down for the lineup when sort of everybody slots into their right positions?
Yeah, well, I think the depth of our team is our strength, and he goes out, you put a guy like Sagan at center. I mean, you don't really, it's flip one great piece out and put another great piece in. So obviously it adds to our depth, getting, that an elite player back, but I don't think it was a situation where our team game really dipped all that much, and that's not saying anything against Rupe, obviously. That's just speaking to the depth of our team, but getting him back will give us a boost if he's in.
Third row left, Mark.
Matt, Rope kind of flies under the radar nationally. What have you seen from him being his teammate this year that you maybe didn't know about him before? What's impressed you about him?
Yeah, I think he definitely does fly under the radar. I think a lot of the Western markets that happens with, especially. But no, he's an elite player. I mean, he does everything well. He's a horse out there. His skating ability is as good as anybody in the world, and kind of does everything you could ask. So he's a guy that helps drive our team, and adds obviously to that. He's a big part of that depth that we have.
Back row on the right.
Hey guys, for both of you, you're 5-1 so far in away games in this postseason. What have you learned about what this group loves most about the challenge of coming into buildings like this?
I mean, we've been the best road team in the league this past year. I think a lot of that has to do with our depth and the detail in our game. We don't beat ourselves. We play our systems real well. And, Otts is a big fan of playing in a away rink. He loves being the villain. I think a lot of us kind of embody that as well.
Second row left, Eric.
Thomas, what have you learned or picked up from a guy like Chris Tanev since he's arrived?
I mean, he's an unbelievable player. I didn't know how good he was before we got him, but he's so good with the puck too. I think is really underrated. As far as what I've learned, he's a great shot blocker. I think he gets himself in the way a lot, but he doesn't rely on it. He's got such a great stick and such great feet that it's kind of a last resort. But he's unbelievable at everything.
That same row, Mike.
Hey, Thomas. We're back in the place where the bubble was. How much did you build friendships there, and how much do those friendships continue right now?
The bubble was huge for me that way. I got to spend a lot of time with guys that I wouldn't normally get to. I got to know the Europeans. I got to know Miro and Roop and all these guys real well. It's just paying dividends now.
Anything else? Go back to Josh on the right.
Matt, just on Jake, I mean, what stood up to you about his demeanor and his calmness? I mean, not all goalies speak on game day today. He's in the room. Or what stands out about his personality that makes him able to do what he does?
You asked about Jake, sorry? That mic wasn't super clear. No, I mean, he's kind of got that disposition of he's intense, but he's also relaxed at the same time. It's kind of, he walks that kind of line of that goalies need, because if you're too on the gas and too intense, I mean, when you let in a bad goal, you're not going to forget about it. You're not going to move past it. You don't have a great game. He has that ability to be dialed in, but also be extremely calm back there. And I think when he's on his game, that calmness and that presence that he has back there as, a forward or, a D-man, as a skater, I mean, you feel like you can kind of go do your thing out there, and you know that if you make a mistake, he's got your back. So that loosens you up a little bit, and all great goalies have that ability to do that. And I've been fortunate in the last few years to play with some really elite goalies, with Bobrovsky and UC Saros and Pecorine and Otter's right there with those guys in terms of that presence that they have back there.
All good? All right, thanks, guys.